Welcome to Daily English Dose Podcast.
Hey, Daniel, you're already here? I thought I'd be the early one today.
Oh, please. You say that every time and still show up 5 minutes late.
Excuse me? That's called a fashionably late entrance. Very intentional.
Ah, yes, very intentional, especially with that slightly out-of-breath look.
Okay, fine. I may have run the last few steps, but honestly, Doha heat is not playing around today.
True, stepping outside feels like opening an oven. But hey, at least we made it here.
Exactly. And more importantly, we're here with something really interesting to talk about today.
Yes, and before we jump into it, hello everyone.
Hi, learners. Welcome back. We're so glad you're here with us again.
Whether you're listening while relaxing, traveling, or secretly pretending to study,
We see you, and we're really happy you chose to spend this time with us.
today's topic is something very real, something almost all of us deal with every single day.
Let me guess how to introduce this. Have you ever looked at someone's social media and thought, wow, their life is perfect?
Or even worse, have you ever posted something just to make your own life look perfect?
That's exactly where we're going today.
Today we're talking about social media identity versus real-life identity.
The version of you online and the version of you in real life.
And trust me, this conversation might feel a little uncomfortable.
But also very honest, very relatable, and hopefully eye-opening.
So, Aisha, let me ask you something directly. Be honest.
Uh-oh, that sounds dangerous already. Go ahead.
Is your social media self the same as your real self?
That's a tough one. Honestly, not completely.
Same here, and I think that's true for most people.
Yeah, because on social media, we don't show everything. We show what we choose to show.
Exactly. It's like a highlight reel.
Yes, that's the perfect phrase, highlight reel. Not the full movie, just the best scenes.
Let's break that down for learners. Highlight reel means the best moments, the most exciting or impressive parts.
And we carefully select those moments. The best angle, the best lighting, the best caption.
And sometimes even the best version of ourselves.
That's where it gets interesting, because slowly that best version can become a kind of mask.
Right, and the scary part is, people start believing that mask is who you really are.
Not just people, sometimes you start believing it too.
That's deep.
It is. Because imagine this. Someone posts a smiling photo, looking happy, confident, successful.
But in reality, they might be struggling, feeling lost, or even lonely.
Exactly, and no one sees that part.
So the question is, why do we do this?
I think part of it is natural. Humans always want to be seen in a good way.
True, we all want approval. We want people to like us.
And social media gives instant feedback, likes, comments, shares.
That dopamine hit.
Yes, let's explain that. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that makes you feel good when something rewarding happens.
So every time you get a like or a comment, your brain says, oh, that feels good. Let's do that again.
And slowly, you start posting not what is real, but what will get more likes.
That's when identity starts shifting.
Right. You're no longer asking, is this me? You're asking, will people like this version of me?
And that's a dangerous place to be.
Because then your self-worth becomes connected to numbers.
Followers, likes, views.
And if those numbers go down,
Your confidence goes down.
that's honestly heartbreaking when you think about it.
Especially for youngsters, teenagers, young adults, who are still figuring out who they are.
Yes, at that stage, identity is still forming, and social media can shape that identity in a strong way.
Sometimes in a good way.
But also many times in a confusing or unhealthy way.
Let me give an example. Suppose someone loves reading books,
Okay.
but their posts about books don't get much attention. So they start posting something trendy, maybe fashion, maybe lifestyle, and suddenly they get more likes.
So they start posting more of that, even if that's not truly their interest.
Exactly. Slowly, they move away from who they really are.
That's like changing your personality to fit an audience.
Yes, and that's exhausting.
Very exhausting, because maintaining a fake identity takes energy.
And creates pressure. You constantly have to perform.
That word perform is so accurate. Social media sometimes feels like a stage.
And everyone is an actor.
Some are good actors, some are still learning.
But very few are completely real.
So let me ask you something, Daniel. Have you ever felt pressure to post something just because others are posting?
Oh, definitely. Especially during events, festivals, trips, achievements.
Yeah, like when everyone is posting vacation pictures.
And you're just at home thinking, should I post something too?
Exactly. And suddenly your normal day feels less exciting, even if it's perfectly fine in real life.
That's the comparison trap.
Yes, let's explain that. Comparison means looking at others and measuring yourself against them.
And social media makes comparison constant,
Because you're seeing hundreds of people's best moments every day.
which creates an illusion that everyone else is happier, more successful, more confident,
While you feel like you're behind.
even if that's not true at all.
That's the thing. Social media shows curated reality, not actual reality.
Curated means carefully selected and arranged.
So what you're seeing is not fake exactly, but incomplete.
And that incompleteness can be misleading.
Let's talk about identity now. What do we mean by real-life identity?
Good question. Real life identity is who you are when no one is watching.
Your thoughts, your struggles, your habits, your values.
The parts that don't always look perfect.
And that's what makes you human.
But on social media, we often hide those imperfect parts.
Because we're afraid of judgment.
Or rejection.
Or simply being misunderstood.
So we filter ourselves.
Literally and emotionally.
Nice one. Filters on photos and filters on personality.
But here's something interesting. Do you think it's wrong to present your best self?
I wouldn't say it's wrong.
Same. I think it becomes a problem only when the gap becomes too big.
Yes, that gap between online you and real you.
When that gap grows, it can affect your mental health.
Because you start feeling like you're living two lives.
One for the world and one that you keep hidden.
And sometimes the hidden one feels more real, but less accepted.
That's a painful feeling.
It really is.
Let's pause here for a second. I want to ask our learners something.
Yes. Think about this honestly.
When you post something, are you expressing yourself or are you trying to impress others?
Take a moment. Really think about it.
Because your answer tells a lot about your relationship with social media.
And about your identity, too.
You know, there's another side to this discussion that we haven't touched yet.
What's that?
What happens when someone becomes too attached to their online identity?
Ah, that's a powerful point.
When the online version becomes more important than the real one.
And they start making real-life decisions based on how it will look online.
Yes, like choosing places, clothes, even friends, just for content.
Exactly. That's where things start getting complicated.
And honestly, a little scary too. Because then, are you living your life or are you just creating content about your life?
That's a question worth exploring deeper.
And I think we should really dive into that.
Yes, especially how it affects relationships, self-esteem, and even authenticity.
Because this is where the conversation gets even realer.
And maybe a little uncomfortable too.
But very important.
So, let's continue from here.
So, let's pick up from that question. Are you living your life or are you creating content about your life?
That question hits harder the more you think about it.
It really does, because for many people now, experiences are not just experiences anymore. They are content opportunities.
Exactly. You go to a cafe, and before even tasting the food,
You're already taking pictures,
adjusting the angle,
fixing the lighting,
retaking the shot 10 times.
and by the time you actually eat, the food is cold.
That's such a simple example, but it says a lot.
It does, because the focus shifts from enjoying the moment to capturing the moment.
And even beyond capturing, it becomes about how others will react to that moment.
Yes. Will this get likes? Will people find this interesting? Does this look aesthetic?
That word aesthetic has become so powerful.
True. For learners, aesthetic means something that looks visually pleasing or attractive.
And now people are designing their lives to look aesthetic, not necessarily to feel meaningful.
That's such an important difference, looking good versus feeling good.
And sometimes they are completely different things.
Let's talk about relationships for a moment. I think this is where social media identity really starts affecting real life.
Oh yes, especially friendships and romantic relationships.
Have you noticed how some people measure their relationship based on what they post?
Definitely. Like, if you don't post me, do you even love me?
That question has caused so many arguments.
It has. And it shows how validation has shifted from private to public.
Earlier, love and care were shown through actions.
Now, sometimes they are expected to be shown through posts, captions, stories.
And if it's not visible online, it feels like it doesn't exist.
That's a very dangerous mindset.
Because real relationships are built in private moments,
Conversations, support, understanding.
not just pictures and captions,
And let's be honest, some couples look perfect online,
but are struggling in real life.
while some strong relationships are completely private.
That's why we should be careful not to judge based on social media.
Because we are only seeing a small part of the story.
A very small, edited part.
Now let's move to something deeper, self-esteem.
Yes, this is a big one.
Self-esteem is how you see yourself, how much you value yourself.
And social media can really affect that.
Especially when you start comparing your life, your looks, your achievements.
With others.
And the problem is, you're comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel.
That comparison is never fair.
Never. Because you know all your flaws, your doubts, your struggles.
But you only see others' best moments.
So naturally, you feel less.
And that feeling can slowly turn into insecurity.
Or even anxiety.
Or a constant need to prove yourself.
That's exhausting mentally.
It is, and I think many youngsters today are silently dealing with this.
Smiling in photos.
Struggling inside.
That contrast is heartbreaking.
It is, and that's why conversations like this are important.
Because awareness is the first step.
Let's also talk about authenticity.
That's one of my favorite words.
Same here. Authenticity means being real, being true to yourself.
Not copying others,
Not pretending to be someone else.
but showing up as who you truly are.
But here's the challenge. Being authentic on social media can feel risky.
Because you might think, what if people don't like the real me?
That fear is very real.
But at the same time, authenticity builds deeper connections.
Yes, because people connect with honesty,
With vulnerability,
with real emotions.
not perfection.
Perfection may attract attention.
But authenticity builds trust.
That's such a powerful line.
And I think more people are slowly realizing this.
Yes, we're seeing more creators talk about real struggles, mental health, failures.
And that's a positive shift,
It is, because it reminds us we're not alone.
that everyone has ups and downs.
Not just the perfect moments we see online.
So, Aisha, how do we find a balance?
Good question. I think the first step is awareness.
Being conscious of what you're consuming.
And how it's affecting you.
If something makes you feel constantly negative,
It's okay to unfollow or take a break.
protect your mental space.
Another thing is being intentional about what you post.
Ask yourself, why am I posting this?
Is it to share something meaningful?
Or just to seek validation?
And there's no judgment, just awareness.
Exactly.
Also, spending more time in real life,
Real conversations.
real experiences.
Real experiences without the pressure to record everything.
Sometimes the best moments are the ones you don't post.
The ones you just feel.
And remember.
That's beautiful.
And one more thing, be kind to yourself.
Yes, please.
You don't have to have a perfect life.
You don't have to match anyone else.
Your journey is your own.
At your own pace.
And that's perfectly okay.
I feel like this conversation is something we all needed, including us.
Definitely. Even we are part of this world.
We're not outside it.
We also feel the pressure sometimes.
But talking about it helps us reflect.
And hopefully helps our learners too.
So to everyone listening, just remember this.
Your real life matters more than your online image.
Your peace is more important than your posts.
And your identity is not defined by likes or followers.
It's defined by who you are when no one is watching.
Stay real, stay kind, and most importantly,
Stay true to yourself.
thank you so much for spending this time with us.
We truly appreciate it.
Keep learning, keep growing.
Keep coming back. We've got more meaningful conversations waiting for you.
See you in the next one.
Take care.